An accidental fire spread quickly today in Bell County, destroying a woman's home. The Bell County Fire Marshal told us a welder sparked the flames while working in the 6700 block of Sparta Road just a few hours ago, and the high winds caused that fire to get out of control. The intersection of FM 439 and Sparta Road were temporarily blocked off to drivers. The fire is now under control. No one was reported hurt.
Hey there, while some residents have returned to their home, you can see this area completely blocked off right behind me. There is no access to get anywhere near or close to Mark Condon's home as ATF agents are continuing their investigation along with police. They keep going inside of the house. Yesterday, they did have an evacuation order in place for about 5 blocks around the area in order to keep the residents here safe. Now, when they made their way inside, law enforcement agents, they did find explosives and components inside the house, but they did not find any completed devices. According to ATF agents, they did find similarities between the explosives, but none that we could see. And they say, despite how they went off, there are some similarities.
I guess when I went, this is Pat, the dad. He said, that's not my son. I know it's not my son. And I can understand that because you would not want to believe that. But, then after a while, the authorities came and told them, and bless their hearts, it's awful.
Now, this home behind me, a little bit of background information. It was purchased by his parents and he was remodeling it with his father. We went to the family's home, which is just a few blocks down the road from here, and they have posted a sign on the door as they process the information and the news about their son being the suspected bomber. Again, still an ongoing investigation here at the home of Mark Condon. We will bring you any updates online. Reporting in Pflugerville, Heidi Alaga. Now back to you.
And the standoff between Killeen police, SWAT officers, and 2 suspects accused of leading police on a chase this afternoon is now over.
Police say 1 man is in custody. That standoff had been going on for nearly 6 hours. We know 1 suspect was not found. Now, it all started around 3:30 when officers tried stopping a vehicle thinking it was stolen. The suspects sped off, eventually ditching the car. There are no reports of any injuries at this time, and police are not releasing the identity of that suspect in custody. Meantime, Democratic Senate hopeful Beto O'Rourke visited Marlin today as part of his campaign for the U.S. Senate. The El Paso congressman attended a public town hall meeting. Much of his platform is improving health care for veterans and seniors, supporting the DREAM Act, which ensures young immigrants brought to the U.S. as children can keep their citizenship, as well as gender equality. This was his first time visiting Marlin since launching his campaign about a year ago.
Bringing power back to people, allowing the people here in Marlin to call the shots, to ask the questions, to hold me accountable, to fund and drive this campaign is the only way to do it.
O'Rourke is running against incumbent Republican Senator Ted Cruz in the November election.
Woman and man in Bell County are alive tonight after escaping a house fire this afternoon. The 2 say they were asleep when the fire started at their home in the 3600 block of Setter Drive around 1 p.m. Investigators believe the fire was started by a faulty water heater in the back of the home. 2 cats died in the fire, but their dog survived. The home is a total loss.
The family of Belton icon Johnny Texas is trying to move forward after a fire destroyed their home and a lifetime worth of belongings. It happened off of Telephone Loop Road in Moffett just before 4:15 Sunday afternoon. Channel 6 News reporter Curtis Quillen is here. Curtis, how's Johnny staying positive through it all?
Leslie, Johnny's family owned the house for about 40 years. Losing it yesterday, he says, was tragic. But now they just look to move forward, reminding themselves, quote, it could have been so much worse.
I was walking out the door to go do some New Year's Eve festivities, and plans changed really quick.
A bit of a gray smoke coming out from the back there. It may have been a lot worse back down in there.
And if you go back the driveway, it is. The lawnmower, the roof, the entire house in ashes after a fire destroyed a house in Moffett on New Year's Eve. The Moffett Volunteer Fire Department says they got the fire out in minutes, but not before it took everything the Reynolds family owned.
I'm sure there's heirlooms, memory items attached to memories.
As a lifetime's worth of belongings look much like this book now, charred and burned in what used to be this family's home for 40 years. It's a sign in the back of the house that addresses how this family is moving forward.
The Lord watches over us, it's not the worst thing that could happen.
This sign in the back of the house, reading, quote, "Send it up to God," lays pointing toward the house. With the house empty when the fire started, Johnny says all they can do is rebuild.
No sense to dwell on the negative because you got to keep moving anyways.
Now the community responds. Neighbors helping neighbors, collecting clothes to replace what was lost. A GoFundMe page also created to help the family start over in 2018. Something they're already starting.
And yes, it's bad. It's a disaster. It's a travesty. But in all this, it's like a phoenix. You can rise from the ashes and keep being positive.
A link to that GoFundMe page we just showed can be found on our website. That's kcentv.com. Leslie.
All right, Curtis, thanks so much. Alleged shooter, 47-year-old Theodore Sims, now faces 2 counts of capital murder. Last Wednesday, police say Sims went to the O'Reilly Auto Parts store in the 1700 block of SWHK Dodge and Loop in Temple and murdered 25-year-old Cody Cornell and 35-year-old Robert Pellerin III. Sims was a former employee of that store. Now, before the shooting, Sims allegedly went to the Napa Auto Parts store in Belton, where police say he tried to shoot employees there. He remains in jail on a $500,000 bond.
We begin tonight in Hillsborough, where the aunt of the 15-year-old girl who was shot in the head while playing video games is speaking out for the first time. Police say 15-year-old Jayla Riggs was killed by a relative who was just 17 years old. Channel 6 News reporter Jasmine Caldwell has been in Hillsborough with the family all night as they are trying to heal from this tragic ordeal. She joins us now with a Channel 6 News exclusive. Jasmine.
Well, Doug, as you can imagine, it's been an emotional couple of days for the family of Jayla Riggs. Her mother did not want to speak on camera, but I did speak to her sister, who said she wanted to set the record straight about guns being in the home. The family of 15-year-old Jayla Riggs says she was a beautiful, smart, fun-loving girl who loved to play soccer and be a kid.
I mean, she was singing, dancing, twirling, something, you know. Sometimes I'd always just be like, really? You know, but she was happy and loved her family.
On December 30th, Jayla was shot in the head by a 17-year-old relative while playing a video game at her home on East Walnut Street. Jayla's aunt said when she found out, she was devastated.
And then you debate on whether even picking up the phone to call and say, is this real, you know? And then you do, and it hits, and it's real.
Police are not releasing the name of the relative and haven't said if they will be pressing charges. They say he claims that he didn't know the gun was loaded when it went off and killed Jayla. According to Jayla's aunt, the gun was not a gun that belonged to anyone inside the home.
But she did not like guns, so the gun was the biggest shock to her, you know. I mean, it was just, where did it come from, you know?
Jayla Riggs' funeral is this Wednesday. Her aunt says she plans to hold a fundraiser in her hometown of San Saba, which is south of Austin. Reporting in Hillsborough, Jasmine Caldwell, Channel 6 News.
Maybe you want an escape from everyday life, or you love a good brain teaser, then the live-action Great Escape Rooms of Central Texas might be your best next stop.
And they have new rooms that have just opened up at the Clean location. That's where we find escape artist Jamie Kennedy. He is live at the location. Hey, Jamie.
Hey, what? Get out while you can. I think our little raccoon friend is onto something, guys. We are live here in Killeen at the Great Escape of Central Texas. Been exploring all the different rooms all morning, and this is because we're here for this brand new room. Mr. Saul, friend here, has been kind enough to let us in. This is their brand new room, and it's all thanks to Charles and Michelle. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Very well, thank you. Now, we are in a very spooky room. If we just get Ryan to have a little look around, we've got our little dungeon master over here, Tasha, our producer. Who we're just scaring nicely. Can you tell us a little bit about this room, Michelle?
So this is our newest room. This is our Saw-themed room. It is not a horror room, although Tasha's a little jumpy this morning. We've been scaring her all morning. This is a strict 18 and up room, though, because you will start shackled to a wall. There are safety precautions we've taken to make sure that in case of an actual emergency, you guys can get out. It's just a small carburetor. But the first puzzle is involved in solving how to turn on the lights, which is what she's trying to figure out right now. So if she uses that, that's chained to the wall, and she would be chained there into that spot.
Okay, so now she'd have to try and turn on the lights with the chain thing.
Yeah, so there's certain things in this room. I'm not going to reveal the puzzle completely, but there's certain things in the room that will help her with these colors over here. You see the colors over here?
Okay.
So there's certain things in this room that can help you with how the order to push these buttons.
Okay.
And then once I push them, the lights will turn on. So I'm going to shield my body for a second, so that you guys can't see the actual order, but you can see their reveal.
Whee!
So
all
that
right.
comes the lights come on. So the first, you know how to solve it, don't you?
Tasha's having a little moment there, a little
super
epiphany there. Perfect. Now, if people want to get involved and come down and do that, how do they do that?
So you can book online. We are through our website, greatescapecolleen.com. You choose the room that you want to play. We have 6 rooms that are available to be booked, and then you choose how many people, the date, the time, pay for it online, and show up and play.
Beautiful, guys. Well, like we said, this is only one of the rooms down here. It's the newest one, the Saw Room. Very elaborate. Love the stuff down here. Tasha's been having a lot of fun. You can tell that from her face. So make sure you do get down here to the Great Escape of Central Texas in Killeen. Lots of fun for the friends and family. For now, it's back to you, Chris and Heidi.
Jamie, it looks like a lot of fun. Just promise us you and Tasha will come back in one piece.
Please, one piece, and make it out safely.
Her nah. We have to sacrifice her. We have to sacrifice
Jamie's
her.
so mean. Look at the smile on Tasha's face. She was so excited to do this.
I know, she is.
And all Jamie's wanted to do is torture her all morning. Good job, Jamie. Good job, Tasha.
Let her have fun.